Cultivating growth, whether it be fruits and vegetables, or maybe life in general, can always be challenging. However, our philosophical farmer, Clyde Fenton with the University of Arkansas Extension Office, shares some vital information about growing blueberries.
Good morning, my name is Clyde Fenton. I'm with the University of Arkansas System's Division of Agriculture's Cooperative Extension. I'm the Sebastian County Ag Agent. Today we're here to talk about blueberries. When I was a young man, I learned to work with blueberries on my grandfather's farm. In the 1950s, which is before my time, my grandfather consulted with the Extension Service through Cornell University in upstate New York, wanting to put blueberries in, and they recommended against it. Well, he went ahead and had really relatively good success. So I grew up around blueberry plants. Interestingly, today, blueberries are now grown in all 50 states. They've become quite a versatile fruit. The folks are interested in having blueberries in their yard, and they're a great fruit to have in your yard, but there's some things that you need to understand about blueberries. And first of all, I want to talk about the three different types of blueberries. This bush immediately behind me is called a premier, which is the variety name, but the type of blueberry it is a rabbit eye. To my left is a legacy. Once again, the variety name, but the type is a southern high bush. The southern high bush is a hybrid between a northern high bush, which is to my right, and a rabbit eye. And it opened up possibilities with blueberry growing when they figured out how to cross those two. Anyway, all three of these types, the northern high bush, the rabbit eye, and the southern high bush, will all grow here in Arkansas. We're in the right growing zones for those. From my experience though, if you want to grow some in your yard, I would recommend a southern high bush or a rabbit eye. I have found that they tolerate our summer heat much better than the northern high bush. Now, some other things that you're going to need to know about blueberries is what kind of soil do they like? Well, blueberries like an acidic soil. You know, most vegetables like a pH, an acid level, of about 6 to 6.5. Blueberries actually like it down between 4.5 and 5. And so oftentimes the soil has to be amended to bring the pH down to where a blueberry will thrive. And another thing that a blueberry needs is a blueberry needs to have well-drained soil. If you're planting blueberries where you don't have well-drained soil, it's very important that they be planted on a berm. You raise up a row and you plant them on top of the row so the roots of those blueberries are never sitting in saturated soil. The reason for that is they are very vulnerable to a root fungus called Phytophthora root rot, and by raising them up, you prevent those problems by and large from happening. Now, it's funny that we're talking about this in the middle of the summer. We're past our harvest, but it is important to be talking about it now, because if you're interested in growing blueberries at your home, this is the time to start preparing your ground. You know, when I first started in blueberries, I didn't want to use any weed control, and I understand anyone that feels strongly about that, so I'm not telling you need to use herbicides or anything, but I am suggesting that you need to get your weeds under control. I think it took me a lot longer to get my blueberries into production because of the competition. So this is a good time to start controlling weeds. This is also a good time to take a soil sample to your county extension office. The University of Arkansas has county extension offices in every county in the state, and they will test your soil for free, tell you what nutrients you need and where your pH is at. Anyway, those are some simple tips if you're interested in planting blueberries. We do have some wonderful nurseries in this state, in the Mountainburg area. You can look up nurseries in the Mountainburg area. I won't endorse any particular one, but I know that there's at least 3 of them there, but I think all of them deal in blueberries. And so, you know, local nursery is a great place to get your blueberries from, because they're going to understand the blueberries you need for the climate that we're living in. We call this segment the Philosophical Farmer, and so we like to end with a a poignant thought. Recently I read a quote that I'd like to share with you, and I'm just going to excerpt it. This quote is by Anne Quindlen, an American author and opinionist columnist. But the quote is this, and I think it's poignant in the times we find ourselves living right now. She says this: "The tradition I cherish is the ideal that this country was built upon, the concept of religious pluralism and of a plethora of opinions and of tolerance. The war is between those who trust us to think and those who believe we must merely be led." Thanks for tuning in today. That's my thought for today. Thank you. I hope you learned something about blueberries, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time.